Hey everyone, so I've been seeing this graphics card pop up everywhere lately, the PowerColor Hellhound Spectral AMD Radeon RX 7900 XTX. It's getting a ton of attention from streamers, reviewers, and even my Discord group where people are swapping benchmarks and asking if it's worth the upgrade. I finally got my hands on one, and after running it through a bunch of games and creative apps, I think it's time to share what I found. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, this thing is a beast. It's built around AMD's RDNA 4 architecture, and the specs are pretty impressive. You're looking at 24 GB of GDDR6 memory, which is massive for 4K gaming and content creation. I ran Cyberpunk 2077 with the overdrive mode on, and even with RT overdrive and DLSS set to quality, I was still getting around 90 FPS at 4K. That's not something most cards can handle without dropping frames or overheating. If you're into high-res gaming or streaming in 4K, this card keeps up without breaking a sweat. Another thing that stood out to me is the cooling. PowerColor went with a triple fan setup here, and it's not just for show. I monitored the temps during a 4K render in Blender, and the GPU stayed under 70 degrees Celsius even under full load. That's pretty solid for a card that's pushing this much power. The fans are also quieter than I expected, no loud whirring or coil whine, which is a big plus if you're gaming late at night or working in a quiet room. Now, let's talk about the display connectors. It's got 3 DisplayPort 2.1 outputs and 1 HDMI 2.1 port. That might not sound like a big deal, but if you're running multiple high refresh rate monitors or a 4K TV, this card has you covered. I hooked up a 240Hz 1440p monitor and a 4K TV at the same time, and the performance was smooth across both. No stuttering, no lag, just consistent high frame rates. If you're a multi-monitor user or into VR, this is a great feature to have. One thing I really appreciate is the build quality. The card feels sturdy, and the metal backplate adds a nice touch. It's not flimsy like some of the cheaper models out there. Plus, the RGB lighting is subtle but looks good through the fan blades. It's not over-the-top flashy, which is perfect if you want something that stands out without being distracting. I also tested it with some creative workloads, like video editing in Premiere Pro and 3D modeling in Maya. The 24 GB of VRAM made a huge difference when working with 8K footage or complex 3D scenes. I could have multiple layers, effects, and high-res textures open without the system slowing down. If you're a content creator, this card is a serious upgrade over older GPUs. Now, no product is perfect, so let's talk about a couple of things to keep in mind. First, this card is big. It's about 12 inches long, so make sure your case has enough room. I had to double-check my case specs before installing it, and thankfully, it fit, but it's something to verify if you're upgrading from an older card. Second, while the cooling is good, it's still a high-power card. If you're running it in a small or poorly ventilated case, you might want to add extra fans or check your airflow. It's not a deal-breaker, but it's worth considering. Overall, though, the PowerColor Hellhound Spectral RX 7900 XTX is a fantastic choice if you're looking for top-tier performance in 4K gaming or content creation. It handles everything I threw at it with ease, stays cool, and looks good doing it. If you're in the market for a new GPU and want something that can keep up with modern games and creative apps, this is definitely one to consider. Alright, that's all I've got. If you're curious about the specs or want to grab one for yourself, the link is below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.